Got the rotor back over here. We're gonna go ahead, put it back on the hub. Everything looks good. Okay, now we want to go ahead and grab our caliper bracket, grab our bolts, and put them on, hand tight first, and then we're gonna tighten her up. So want to make sure your bracket's tight before you put your brake pads on. It's always the easier way. Some people like to put the pads on the bracket. I like to put pads on the bracket last. It's a lot easier when it's on the vehicle and it's tight. Here we go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and use the ratcheting breaker bar to tighten them up. Now these do have torque specs. I'm just going to tighten these up, but some of these bolts do have torque specs. Not every bolt does have a torque spec when it comes to on the brakes. And you can't always look them up, but if you can, definitely want to torque them down. Okay, so we're just going to tighten these up, make sure they're good and tight. So once your bolts are tight, the next step we're going to do here, I'm going to double check these real quick. It's going to be to put our brake pads on. We've already lubed them up. We've already prepped our brake pads. They're ready to go. Take a look at your brake pads and how you took them off. Anytime you're putting the pads on, the inner pad should have the wear indicator. We've been through wear indicators before. You want to make sure you have the wear indicator right on the inside, and you can see right there. That'll tell us when that pad gets low, about 90%, hey, it's time to get new pads. So we're going to put that on the inside. We're going to put this on the outside. You want to put it right in here, put the ears right in. They slide against the hardware, good to go. Now we want to take and remove our bungee cord. Actually make sure you remove it from the vehicle so that the customer doesn't take it home with them. So that does happen. So now we're going to bring this down, put the brake pads on, put the caliper on. Now we're going to take our bolts right here for the actual caliper. We're going to put those on, finger tight, as far as they'll go, and then we'll tighten them down. Again, you want to make sure everything's in line before you tighten everything down. Key is to make sure this hose isn't kinked. A lot of times what happens is technicians will go in, put a caliper back in, and the hose will be kinked. If you do that, guess what? It's going to cause a blockage. You won't have fluid flowing to your caliper, meaning you'll possibly have a pull. You won't have braking on this side, so we don't want to have that. So now let me go ahead and grab my ratchet. You gotta make sure they're good and tight. One last key thing you want to make sure to do whenever you're done with a brake job, make sure you pump the pedal up. Pumping the pedal up actually lets the caliper push in against the pads. If you don't do that, failure to do so will cause the brake pedal to go down. The first couple pumps will go all the way down to the floor, which could cause an accident. Seen it happen in many shops. We want to make sure we don't do that. So always make sure you pump the pedal when you're done with a brake job, anytime you push the caliper back. There's a simple instruction on a simple brake job, front brake job, replacing pads, resurfacing rotors. There you go.